I think it is a cosine because it does not pass through the origin.
What do you mean pass through the origin?
The point 0, 0 is not on the line.
Well, what if I had a sine function that was just shifted up vertically?
I know. I'm just saying it's probably easier to find the first function as a cosine.
Well, I'm saying that your reasoning doesn't quite make sense to me because I could have a sine function that also doesn't go through the origin. So what's a different reason for this function? Where does the period start on a cosine function? Does it start at a max, a min, or a minimum?
It starts at the max.
Yeah, so this, so because the period seems to start at a max, and we know that cosine functions start at a max, okay? So we're gonna say that this is a cosine function, okay? We've got our D value, all right? And then Avanish, can you tell me something else we could find here?
So we can find the period.
Okay, how are we gonna find the period?
So we can start at the y-axis and see where it picks up from there.
Okay, so we have our y-axis and we're at a maximum right here, right?
Right.
And then what do we have to stop at to go one full period?
Stop at pi.
So yeah, we have to go all the way through. We have to hit our midline, our minimum, our midline again, and then get back up to our maximum. We have to start and end at the same sort of place. Okay, so we go from 0 to pi. So this means our period must be pi. And how do we find our B value from that, Avanish?
So we know our period is equal to 2 pi over b.
Mm-hmm.
So we can set 2 pi over b equal to pi. Then from there we can solve for b.
Okay, what do we get?
1/2.
Are you sure?
Wait, or 4. Wait, no. No, it's 2. It's 2.
Very good. Yes. So we multiply by b on both sides to get it out of the denominator. So then we get pi b equals 2 pi. Divide by pi on both sides. And then we are left with b equals 2. Okay, so we have our b values. We have a cosine function, we have our b value, we have our d value. So we have 2 more things we need to find. Dahlia, can you pick one of them for me? So the 2 things left are amplitude and what else have we got then? Phase shift. You can pick either one.
Amplitude.
All right. How am I going to find it?
Isn't it the maximum minus the
You're super quiet. Can you say that again?
Isn't it the maximum minus the midline? Or no?
Yeah, we can do that. So what's our maximum value?
5.
What did you say?
5.
Oh, thank you. And then what's our midline?
2.
Good. So we should get
3.
So our amplitude A is 3. I'm surprised nobody picked that sooner. I think that amplitude is one of the easiest things to figure out. And then Kimberly, you get phase shift. All right. Do you think that this shifted left or right at all?
I think it shifted to the right.
So if it's cosine, right? Then normally the parent function, the very original cosine function, starts at a max, right? So we could have shifted to the right one full period. Like pretend maybe this was the original first spot. we could say plus pi there. You're right. We could do plus any multiple of pi to get a phase shift, but we want to try to do the least amount possible. So if it already starts at a maximum, we're going to pretend like the phase shift doesn't happen, okay? Because
Okay.
cosine of like a value is the same thing as cosine of that value plus the period. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll write that down. So like cosine of x is equal to cosine of x plus the normal period for cosine is 2 pi. Okay, for this one, because our period changed, it's just pi. Our period was pi. Okay, so this is kind of like this is a little property you can use when you're solving problems, right? But because this is true, we pick the smaller one. So we're going to say there's no phase shift. Okay, and this happens because it's a cosine function. It repeats itself over and over again. Okay, so this means that our C value is equal to 0. Okay, so if we put this all together, let me put all the popsicle sticks back in the cup, and then we'll have one of you guys put this all together. Alston, can you put this all together for me? What's my final function? Alston?
I'm working on it.
Okay, so what are we going to start with? Which of our values?
I'm writing it down.
Oh.
Can you shift the paper up, please?
So,
Can anyone hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, it is 3, right, no, well, y equals 3 cosine parentheses 2x in parentheses plus 2.
Very good. Okay, and we can double check our Desmos screen and see if that's correct. And we have the correct graph. Okay, so what questions do you guys have about this process before we try another one? It kind of sounds like somebody's trying to talk, but I'm not sure. Normally we would do 4 total of these, but I'm gonna just do 2 since we only have 10 minutes left of class. So if you don't mind just ignoring the screen for a minute so that I can type in our next problem. So So if you're watching this, obviously you're going to figure it out, but hopefully we can figure out using the graph to do this. Okay. Okay, here we go. Y'all can look now. I wasn't going to waste my time switching all the screens just so that you guys couldn't see. Okay, so how are we going to do this one? Let's see. We're starting a new problem. And Imani, can you start me off? What do you want to find first?
The midline.
Okay. Start with the midline. We need to do the amplitude, the period, a phase shift, and we need to figure out what function it is. Okay, so Imani wanted to start with the midline. So what's halfway between that max and min?
Is it 0?
Yeah, so y equals 0 is our midline, which means that our d value is going to be 0. Okay, we've got our d. Thank you. Sam, can you help me find one of the next ones?
Sure. So for the amplitude, I guess we found that the midline is at 0 and we have max is at 3 and a min at -3. So you can just see that it's 0 or 3 for the amplitude.
Yeah, good. Amplitude is 3. So we could do max minus midline, which is 3 minus 0, which gives us the 3. So our amplitude is 3. All right, now our period. Kimberly, can you help me out with the period?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just writing down something.
So for the period, I like to, regardless of the function, you can just pick a spot to start with, either a max, a min, or a midline, and you've got to end at that same type of spot. So what do you want to pick, max, min, or midline? Just pick any one of them. It's arbitrary. Anyone.
The max.
Okay, so if we start at a max, we'll start at a positive max, so it's a little bit easier. We see that this x value is at 3 pi over 4. Now, in order to go one full period, I have to go through my midline. I have to hit my minimum and all these negative values, hit my midline again, and then hit my maximum. So I have to start and end at the same type of place, okay? And then I have to go through every single possible part of the function, okay? So we've gone through every single part of the function, and we've started and stopped in the same type of place. We've stopped in a maximum, okay? And so now we have to figure out how far 3 pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4 are from each other. How far away is that? So if I took 7 pi over 4 and subtracted 3 pi over 4, what do I get?
2.
Try again. 7 minus 3 is?
I mean, 4. I'm going to say 4.
4 pi over 4. And what does that reduce to?
2. 2 pi.
4 over 4 is?
I mean 2. Oh my god.
No, try again. What's 4 divided by 4?
1. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I keep looking at something
okay.
else.
Don't worry at all. So this means our period, actually, yes, our period is pi. And so now we need to find the b value. So I'm going to take pi, set it equal to 2 pi over b. And this spoiler is going to be literally the exact same algebra that we did up here. So b is going to be equal to 2. Okay. Kimberly also noticed, so we started and ended at a max. You could have done a midline too. I probably would have chosen the midline because it's kind of nice to start from 0. And I would have gone through all my min, my max, and then ended at the midline again. And then you can see going from 0 to 2 pi, or 0 to pi right there. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can also, like, if you chose min, or if you were thinking about choosing min, here's pi over 4, go up to our max, and back at our min, 5 pi over 4. So 5 pi over 4 minus pi over 4 gives me 4 pi over 4, which is pi as well.